Not all those who wander are lost. J.R.R. Tolkien, The Fellowship of the Ring. Good evening, everybody. It's been a while, I know. And yeah, it shows. Man, just not even doing a live stream for a couple days. I get a little bit rusty. But this is kind of a fun one because throughout this time where I wasn't live streaming, I kept getting redirected back to Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, why? I mean, I love the trilogy, the movie adaptation, but then there's a lot of things left out in the book, from the book into the movie adaptation. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's just weird. It is. It's just weird, and not many people really notice it. But I'm pretty sure a few people have, because there are some diehard Lord of the Rings fans. I tell you that. Okay, so let's start off with the usual. All right. Donations. If you want to donate via Bitcoin or Vertcoin, you may do so. I've received $0 via cryptocurrency for over 16 months, and you can always validate that by looking at the blockchain for that. Dang it. Let's go ahead and get that in. And do I have to log in now? That doesn't make any. Okay, it's there. They just changed their overall look. So these are two that I took from my GoFundMe or Patreon. I think it's Patreon. I gave it to Susie Dawson when she needed it. Vertcoin, you can donate there, and of course, receive nothing there either. You can always send me money on Google Super Chat, but they take a big chunk out of it. Well, thank you nonetheless. And PayPal that me, you can go ahead and donate there at any time, not when I'm live streaming or anything like that. And I will disclose any money that I receive on the first video of the month. And it looks like my next video in November, it'll be $0 disclosing there. But I will also disclose the total money I've received. And that started on September 22nd, 2019. If you don't have any money to donate, you can prove the globe Earth and get $15,000 from Zen Garcia. Maybe donate a 10% finder's fee to me. That should be pretty easy for a lot of people who watch my channel who are still globe believers. And also for those who are flat earthers, you may go ahead and check out Zoom Truth. He's got a YouTube channel. I talked with him earlier tonight, and sign up and find other people with the Flat Earth People Finder at zoomtruth.com. You can always join me on my live streams. I provide a Zoom meeting. You can call in, or you can just join on the link through your smartphone or computer or what have you. Sometimes I'm presenting something like I am tonight, and I may keep you in the waiting room, or just have you join in from the waiting room and just have you mute yourself for a while until I'm done and I can ask questions to you. This is the Flat Earth People Finder from Zoom Truth. You can find a lot of people. I'm pretty sure Dave are wanting a lot more people to sign up. What's weird is I live in Columbus, Nebraska, but I don't show up there. Maybe it shows everyone but yourself. I mean, why would you want to find yourself? That's a very metaphysical question, isn't it? Okay, so we'll go on first. The number 144 means a lot of different things to a lot of people. Most notably, 144,000 for people who are Bible thumpers. And well, what's interesting is I came up while I was for some reason redirected to Lord of the Rings, and I was actually listening to a read along. So someone did a read it's like an audiobook, so in different free with background music, sound effects, and voice narration of the different characters. Did a really, really good job. I'm still listening to it. But while I was listening to it, and the reason why I like these audiobooks is I could do other things while I'm listening. So this was one of them. And interesting thing, and I'll go directly into Lord of the Rings first because there's a couple of numbers that I want to present. One of the things that many people may not know is that during Bilbo Baggins' 111st birthday, 111th birthday, it was the same birthday. Why are you doing that? All right, 111. There we go. Sorry. As Frodo Baggins. And we're going to go ahead and verify that. This is on archive.org. The Lord of the Rings. You could read it all for free, which is nice. Actually, I have the books, but this is easier for me to share to people and easier to search for certain things. So 12 more years passed. Each year, the Bagginses had given very lively combined birthday parties at Bag End, but now it was understood that something quite exceptional was being planned for that autumn. Bilbo was going to be 111, a rather curious number and a very respectable age for a hobbit. The old Took himself had only reached 130. And Frodo was going to be 33, an important number, the date of his coming of age. Now, if you add up 111 with 33, you get 144. And not only that is it mentions that they shared the same birthday. So you get 111 plus 33 equals 144. Oh, come on. Putting in wrong search. People know where I live. I mentioned many times. The question is, do you know where you live? Oh, I had to throw that out there, didn't I? Okay. It says, secondly, to celebrate my birthday, cheers again. I should say our birthday, for it is, of course, also the birthday of my heir and nephew, Frodo. He comes of age and into his inheritance today. So right there, if you guys didn't know, there you go. Just proved that both Frodo and Bilbo Baggins shared the same birthday, where Bilbo is 111 and Frodo is 33, which adds up to 144. Now, what's interesting with 144 is here. Let's see. We'll do another search. That's not it, just it for okay. So if you add up both their birthdays on the same day for Frodo and Bilbo, you get 144, and also Bilbo invited. The invitations were limited to 12 dozen, a number also called by the hobbits one gross, though the word was not considered proper to use of people. And I never, maybe that was just a thing, by the hobbits of one gross. What's interesting is that, and again, you can read it on TolkienGateway.net. One gross is a measurement equal to 144 or something, a dozen dozens. And it's shown here, yeah, it's the number of people invited to Bilbo's birthday party in order to some of his and Frodo's ages 111 and 33. And if you look up the gross definition, a couple of definitions here. I've never known this. This is weird. This is new. An amount equal to 12 dozen, 144, 55 gross of tins of processed milk. And Latin and Old French, large, but you could go to Merriam-Webster, definition of gross, an aggregate of 12 dozen things. And you could go to Cambridge Dictionary, a group of 144 items. Like I never, what? All my years, never knew one gross equaled 144. Anyways, and that's not too gross. It is gross, but it's not that type of gross. I think that's why it's funny. Now there's another part. Let's see. It says here, together we score 144. Your numbers were chosen to fit this remarkable total, one gross, if I may use the expression. And so remarkable total. Now, what's interesting is I searched the two towers, not the twin towers, the two towers and Return of the King for any of these keywords, 111 or 11st or 33, gross or 144 or 44, 40-4. Couldn't find anything of it, but I was able to find it, and I just thought that was just really weird. So I was playing around with the, all right, so what else? I mean, there's so much to look up with 144. I mean, you could do 12 squared, and that gets you 144 with the Fibonacci sequence. It's the 12th sequence of the Fibonacci is 144, and of course it's still the large squared number in the Fibonacci sequence of that sequence where it I'm starting to confuse myself. All right. But I also wanted to show just a couple of things. Someone else had something interesting to share with 144, and I don't know. Oh, here it is. It's by esotericonline.net by Gary Valtenuta. I don't really know who that is, but it was interesting what he was looking at, just using different type of ciphers, gematria ciphers. But he read The Mayan Factor by Jose Arguelles, and he drew something like this. And basically, it's based off of the Mayan calendar, which is a 260-day calendar laid out in a 13 by 20 grid. Representing the 13 months of 20 days. And so you got 13 across, 20 down. This was just the numbering. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It starts over after it ends at 13. Just keep going down. And you realize that 13, 26, 26 letters of the alphabet. So he used the same thing. And unfortunately, you can't see it there, but I recreated it within Excel. And here you go. Noting the 12th Fibonacci sequence is 144. Interestingly enough, the 144th Fibonacci sequence is this, and you get the digital root. It's 9. Here, this digital root is 9. 9 comes up quite a lot. Guy is mentioning there's a key within the Mayan calendar chart here. Like basically, he wanted to see if any English words came out recognizable, and there was. He found key, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 keys. But there's also 9 keyses, because you can also say keys is part of a word. But the thing is, I did something different as opposed to just noting that is I went ahead and color coded it. Like you could see KEY represents 11, 5, 12. It's like, does that have any significance? Can I make that anything special? Not quite. It's 55, and so 11 times 5 is 55 times 12 is 660. But what I did was I added the S, which is a 6, because don't know whether I should add that or not. It's not quite. I mean, like it's an additive. Like if you're pluralizing something, like I'm going to take the keys. That means more than one, so you're adding it, and get them copied. Or I'm going to go get some beers. That means you're going to get more beers. How many more beers? 5 more beers. It's not 5 times. That's 5 additional. So I just added it. And when you have 660 and you add the 6, you get 666, which is pretty fun. Now, this is just kind of interesting. I don't know if it amounts to anything that the Mayans were alluding to that number at all with this little keys. Not to even mention that did they even know English at that time? So who knows? Just one of those weird peculiarities with 144. And here, this is the 144 Fibonacci sequence. What was interesting is I wanted to see if the digital root, the sum of the digital roots in total for each number added up to 144. They did not. I think it got up. It was a weird number. But anyways, it's just a total of this summed up. Just gives you digital root of 9, which matches the Fibonacci 12 Fibonacci sequence, which is 144, which is 9. Anyways, that's all I really had. Nothing stands out. I mean, a lot of people have an idea of what 144 means to them, or 144,000. I just thought I'd share this little tidbit, which I did not realize that a gross was technically 12 dozen, 144, and that Frodo shared the same birthday as Bilbo. I had not known that. And look, he came up with these characters. Why 111 and why 33? Why were those numbers so special? Everyone knows 33 is a interesting number, pretty occult, esoteric, mystery school, Freemasonry type of thing. And 111, why not 121, 113, whatever? Why 111 or 11-1? Why 33? They both equal 144. They're both born on the same day. They got 144 birthday invitations. It's called a gross. And not only that, if you look away from Lord of the Rings, of course, it's just Lord of the Rings. I did a search. What else could there be with that Tolkien with 144? And the timeline of Arda, one of the things he had was his chronology, assuming one Valerian year was the equivalent of 144 solar years. And this is consistent with his earlier version published in 1955 in Appendix D of the Lord of the Rings, that the elves would reckon time in long years, or Yanni, equivalent of 144 solar years. So actually that is part of the Lord of the Rings, which is pretty interesting. He really wanted, I don't know, he just oddly alluded to 144 a couple of times in Lord of the Rings, and for what purpose? Just wanted to include those special numbers, and he didn't really ask or say what those special numbers were. So that's it. And if you want to join me, you can. But otherwise, that's it. I thought of a new ending. And I guess I could show the chat. I keep forgetting to do that sometimes. A new saying. You know how people have like a saying when they're ending their streams. So I had one earlier. Okay. I'm gonna try to perfect it. It's called or what's the saying? The saying is gonna be rather than questioning my sanity, you should start by questioning your insanity. And thank you and good night.